building Breeze, helping build Breeze, there was a post by Aaron,
the founder.
Yeah, the founder and one of your partners. Somebody got a text. I don't know if he got a text or DM or whatever. Post Malone tried Breeze and loved it. Wanted to talk about investing. What is up? Welcome back to the Checkout. It's the podcast that has a bunch of smart people and me, all people I would start a company with if I could start a company with anybody.
So the context behind this is Aaron is obviously in Florida. Post is in Florida as well. And we're pushing everywhere, like as far as we possibly can be pushing. And Aaron gets a text message like, "Yo, Post, he tried it, loved it." Aaron's like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, he's pretty casual about these things. Like, he not making a big deal of it. And he goes like, "Yo, they just sent the driver. There is weed and pre-rolls already in the car, and it's a Maybach. It's a brand new Maybach." And I'm like sick. I'm like, sick. So what are you gonna go do? And he's like, probably just go see him and talk business. And Aaron. He's like super smart guy. He's aware of what's happening. He's aware of his impact. He's aware of the cultural shift, and obviously, like, he's a big Bud Light guy, right?
Right.
He had one of the most viral how do you say, like, advertisements during the Super Bowl area with another pretty famous comedian.
Yeah.
But his ability, which is interesting because we have had Wiz Khalifa reach out in the past, but I feel like that might cross, and this is it's coming from me, Wiz might cross too much in the weed space, whereas Posty might be even like more mainstream to where like this actually might make sense.
Everybody talks about optimizing their ads, but they don't spend enough time talking about optimizing their overall website, which is something that I think more of us need to spend time doing, and more of us need to spend time thinking through. The reason why most people don't do it is because you actually can't track revenue per element on your site. Heatmap.com does that. And that's something exactly why I love them and why we use it, because it's easy enough for me to use, and it's easy enough for us to like communicate what exactly the changes are doing for our people. I like heatmap.com because it specifically drives revenue for us per element that we have. And so there's no real back and forth discussion. It's either going to start to work or we're going to get rid of it because it's tied directly to revenue. Google Analytics, which we all terribly hate, only talks about what's happening on the overall website, not the actual elements within the website. At the end of the day, the only valuable data point that we can gather are the ones that drive revenue. And if you aren't able to track that or update that, you're really wasting your time, which is why we use Heatmap, because we're able to track that specific data and know what optimizations we need to do next. Head on over to heatmap.com, give it a 14-day free trial. Worst case, it's not for you. You don't want to use it. Best case, you find a bunch of money and you make a bunch of money.
Right. I do think that the instinct for a brand like that, I think we take this a lot of ways, because this sent me on a little curiosity rabbit hole of like, I'm just going to read this for the audio listeners. So your partner, Aaron, posted this today. He said, sent me home in the other one, like the other Maybach. Seems like we might do something though, meaning we might do something with Post Malone and Breeze. Pretty impressive entrepreneur, manages the Kid Leroy, Quavo, and a ton of producers. Took me by the new studio he's building in Miami, which was rad. A young hustler who clearly knows his way around. I could see it. Now, what I'm wondering is if he's talking about Post Malone or if he's talking about Austin Rosen. So this sent me down a little bit of a rabbit hole, because Austin Rosen is the founder of a company called, I want to say it's like Freeform or Free Vibe. It's like something like that, Free Vibe Energy or something. But basically, like, he was like a fashion guy. His dad is like pretty well known in fashion, and he built a career in fashion. And then he discovered Post Malone after he released White Iverson on SoundCloud. I don't know if you guys remember that, if you're into rap or whatever. But he released White Iverson on SoundCloud. Everyone was like, is this a parody? Is it real? Like, this guy's kind of good. These jokes aren't that funny. Like, where is this guy sitting? Is he doing a parody, or is it real? Right. And then Austin Rosen was like, okay, let's figure this out. And he didn't sign him. He didn't have a label. He just was like, you're cool. And then Austin became a connector, and then is just kind of like part of his deals. And then now the Kid Leroy, all those people that Aaron said are under that are being managed by that company. And they also do venture capital investments. They do investments in DC brands. They manage like TikTok influencers and stuff like that. So I am curious if Aaron met Post Malone or if he met Austin, because it sounds like he met Austin. Do you know?
It's a little bit of both. So Austin spent the most time with him just because that's like the business guy. And
because Post Malone's a major celebrity and he doesn't have a lot of time to be kicking it around with your boy.
I don't know. I think it's also I think I didn't track where Post Malone was. Haven't called him in a while, so I don't know if he was there or not. But it actually does. I don't think it matters if it was Posty or if it was. It matters that if it wasn't Posty, because that he wasn't be the one making the business decisions. I think it would be more on the Austin side, where he's like, I get Bev. I understand where our impact could be. I know who, like, culturally where we can be. And on even deeper, you think about it, it's how many more cultural alignment moments can we have? It's kind of like when Bart has one of like the heavy duty football players or heavy duty baseball players that are just happening to have an incredible season, and all of a sudden they're like, that dude chose that hat, wore it down that tunnel, and all of a sudden now that's everywhere. Like you have to find ways to manufacture moments. And we just did this overall campaign on email and it was like pretty successful. We did our thing called Mocktail Madness, our take on March Madness. It was like, it's very hard for finding moments where you can be like super congruent with the experience. March Madness, tons of drinking, tons of partying, tons of betting, tons of like people coming together. We were able to like kind of put our spin on it. And majority of the people that we did our respond back campaign with, well, it's all women. And all women giving us mocktail recipes. So now we have a whole different side of people coming into it.
Them ladies know about the mocktails, huh?
Oh, dude, the ladies know all about. There was one that we didn't really get to talk about. It's called Baja Breeze. And I was like, oh, this is so unique. What is it going to be? He's like, it's literally Baja Blast with breeze. I was like, is that not the most bro mixture of like, and he sent a photo of like both of them together. So he was super stoked on it.
And then he stays up all night gaming, just playing Call of Duty.
Smashing
that is
Baja,
a good gaming combo.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's actually what I wanted to like broaden the aperture to. Like, one thing that was interesting to me about this whole thing is like, I always love when I find like the guy behind the guy. You know what I mean? So there's like Emma Greed, who is the CEO of Skims. I'm like, oh, she's like the girl behind the girl, like that. I love when I find those like, oh, this is the person behind that really does it. I can't remember their names, the co-founders of Prime and Alani Nu, or Alani. Is that right? Am I saying it right, Zoe?
Even Celsius.
Yeah, Celsius. I'm always very interested when I find like the person behind the person. So Austin, if you're also like me and you like getting into people behind the people, Austin Rosen, who kind of manages Post Malone, very interesting person behind the person. But I do want to broaden the aperture to like maybe more relevancy, is like both you and Bart, Breeze and Dad Gang have both like really naturally had like celebrity collabs. You've had celebrity just like actually buy the product and use it. And I think that one of the things I've noticed is I've worked with like a ton of brands, and I was thinking about this today, is that like my whole thing is volume. I've just talked to so many brands over a long period of time. Like I've never really been that deep with any one brand. It almost always, I notice the brands like Breeze or Dad Gang that aren't really trying to do a lot of celebrity collabs. It's not like a department you have. You don't have, right? I'm guessing maybe it is at Breeze, but at Dad Gang, I know it's not. Like you guys are kind of doing everything yourselves still. Those are the ones that like the celebrity collabs come. And then the ones that are like trying to do stuff with influencers and celebrities find it like much harder, I feel. So I'm curious, like, do you guys see that same thing? And what is that? Like, because does it just mean like you can't try hard?
I think it comes down to
go ahead, Zoe. Sorry.
Good product. If you focus on the product and not so hard on like the collabs in the beginning, especially, then like people are going to find good product and want to like organically use it. That like we saw that at Chomps a lot too, where like you'd see like a chopstick in the back of someone's Instagram story, or like someone had it in their bag, and it was like we didn't send that to them, but then people are like, I love Chomps. It's like if you focus on good product, and I don't know, Bart and Nick, you can speak to that, but I feel like it comes down to the product.
I think we didn't. What do you do about that? Sorry, go ahead, Bart.
No, we didn't. Just from the beginning, like just from trying to be profitable and stuff right out the gate, we're like, we're not going to send out hats for free. It was just like
You're not
not
even
a,
seeing.
just wasn't even a thought. It was just like, if you're and the approach of like, we also just want to be a brand for every dad out there. So we didn't want to over focus on highlighting the celebrity. Whereas like, we want to make every dad feel special when they wear our product. So like, over telling the influencer story is just kind of like not part of our brand. And then yeah, I think if a product is good enough, it'll just find its way to important people. Also, side note, we also got, this is so funny, we got Post Malone to randomly wear a Dad Gang hat after a concert, and
Oh,
it was our most viewed reel ever, like multi million views reel. And all he did was like, he was fighting security to get back to his fans so he could sign stuff, just wearing a pink Dad Gang hat. It's just,
nice.
yeah, like we couldn't send that to him or anything. It just happened after a concert.
I'm starting to think Posty might be a little bit of a logo whore here.
He's down, dude. He's
He definitely listens to the podcast.
Yeah.
I think so. So I think that like my issue is really like the answer, and maybe the correct answer is like, don't try so hard, just make a great product and it'll make its way to important people. But like I used to lead growth at a company called Ondar. We made great products. They did make their way to important people. One problem of doing like leather bags and wallets is that it's just not a very public product. You know what I mean? Like it's not a bag kind of is, but like the way our design was, it wasn't like plastered on there. You know what I mean? And wallets definitely aren't a public product. So we always ended up having to grind out some deal with like these major influencers, or if we wanted to do something with a celebrity, a D-Rock or something like that, it was like it was always just kind of like we always had to grind out a deal with them. They would never just kind of like ended up in it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I'm saying, is that it's like when you're like, we'll make great products. I'm like, well, I think a lot of founders and brands think they make great products already. Like, how do you action that as, a marketer, as somebody who's like trying to make shit happen? You know what I mean?
I also feel like the Dad Gang and Breeze is like very giftable. And
Yeah.
like if you make something giftable, it's like also word of mouth, or there's a whole like word of mouth, like guerrilla marketing part of it too.
Oh, Breeze is so word of mouth. It's crazy. Like when you have that can in your fridge and somebody comes over, like, what the hell is this thing? And
Yeah.
you're like, well, it's not alcohol
Yeah.
and it's not a seltzer, but
And
then
I'm
you
always
start to
like, Grandma,
explain
don't
it.
drink that.
You're like,
I've
drink
had
four
like,
of them and then have a chat with me.
no, I've had people leave my house like immediately texting me the next day being like, dude, where do I get that? That was the coolest feeling. It's just like the most immediate word of mouth thing. And then, yeah, I guess hats are too, because you're like, what's on your forehead?
Right. Yeah, it's very public. And I think that, so, I mean, I think what we're saying is that, yeah, like make great products. It makes its way to important people. I think picking opportunities, right? So like choose to work on brands that just kind of lend themselves to this stuff easier, for sure. All that said, I am curious, maybe I'll ask a little bit more direct question. And Nick, I know you were in the middle of something, but Zoe, I'm curious because you were at both Ghost and Champs and both have like, major collabs, both really big companies. How much seeding did you guys do? Like, did you have like people who were like full-time influencer managers who were doing a lot of seeding and stuff like that? Like, was it an active process for you?
Uh, Both Ghost and Chomps did have a whole like social and like influencer departments, but a lot of the seeding was really calculated, especially at Ghost. Like they would basically like watch people. Well, a lot of stuff was outreach too. Like I remember even just in customer support, we would get like big influencers writing in being like, love your stuff, would love like to work with you guys. And even like the biggest influencers, they wouldn't just like work with them right away. They would like watch their social media and make sure that it was like someone who like actually vibed with the brand for months, sometimes years. And like I remember they took their time with like all of the stuff and would stay in contact. with these big influencers, and through just being in contact, these influencers would like still pick it up at GNC and like think it was like cool to be in contact with us, and like post it just without even like any type of payment. And it was just like an honor to be a part of the brand. And it wasn't a lot, like a lot of people, it wasn't about the money. And like, I think that even just like, yeah, just knowing how much like we paid some of these people, like you would be surprised how like little some of the payments were, because like people just wanted to be a part of the brand. Like it wasn't about the money for them.
It's like, oh, I'm already carrying this around all the time, so it's not hard for me to promote it. I think, you know, that when you were saying that, I think it's kind of like when you're dating someone who's out of your league, which all the men on this podcast I know have dated someone out of their league, because as a man, the point at which you decide to get married, is when you land someone who wants to marry you, who's out of your league, and then you get married to them. So it's like when you're dating someone, like, how do you date someone who's out of your league? You don't just be like, oh, you're interested? Cool. Like, how could we, you know, like maybe let's like, you're like, you kind of act like how you said, where like a big influencer would write in and you'd be like, oh, cool. And you'd be in contact with them, but you wouldn't really even do a deal with them right away. You'd like watch their content and stuff like that, chat with them when it was like natural to, like the influencer team wouldn't just like, all right, let's move a deal forward. Like they kind of played a little more hard to get, even though it's like, well, no, we really want to get them. But like, if we seem like we like them too much, then they're not going to be interested. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, then we would do big moments too. Mm-hmm. Like we would do like we would send things around for like Air Max Day every year, and to partners and people who are just interested, and like non-partners too. And so there was like a lot of big like moments behind. It was more than just working with someone. It was like a community and feeling, and like really deeper than just like a deal.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to say, Shaq?
I think the fact that the product itself has marketing on it is also really important. Like Dad Gang is the logo. Breeze is the logo. Ghost is the logo. Chomps is the logo. Like that ability for it to be seen super naturally and pretty clear. Like it's like really difficult to be like, that's not what, it's very easy to see why those are there. And like, that's why you have the Monster M's, and cans and beverage do a really good job, because we need to be noticeable on the shelf, which means we need to be noticeable in the fridge, the 6-pack, the backpack, all the things. And we were actually in the process, and I was saying this earlier, there's an app that can like identify famous people. And a month and a half ago, with 99% accuracy, they can't say 100%, we had like Diplo make a purchase of our product, and they're like, they coordinated the address, they coordinated the email, they coordinated when it came in, and they're like, the likelihood of this being Diplo is like pretty high. And I was like, how is this even possible? So I'm right now in the process of split testing like an app that does self-discovery on all past purchases, that then allows our influencer team to be like, hey, by the way, like, you love our stuff, here's a free 6-pack, thanks for enjoying it. So now we can do like a whole surprise and delight that Zoe is working with us on, like formulating a budget to where we can actually do promo packs or something that can put it in the fridge or get a nice little decal to them.
Yeah. And that's so the app has the database of these people, and it basically matches to its own database.
Yeah. And
that's smart.
I'm trying to understand how it does it. It's like scrapes all publicly available information, anything on Zillow, anything on Reddit, anything that's like actually publicly available. Like there's no hidden things. And then they're like, email, that makes sense. Location makes sense. I'll try to pull an example of how we were able to like coordinate if it's Diplo.
The more brands that use it, then also the better its data gets enriched. So that is smart. That's actually a great business, because they have data moat. Like that's a real moat. I like that you didn't name them though. Don't give them any free exposure.
We like to reverse that process. So like if we see a celebrity with our hats, then we go into Shopify. We're like, how the hell you get it? Yeah. It usually ends up being his wife bought him a hat. And it's like, true. Like Mookie Betts isn't going on dadgame.com himself, but like you see like his wife is on there, and like, okay. And most of the time when it's an athlete, it's their wife got him a hat, and we're able to track that back.
Yeah, it's so true. And even ours is like, it's the wife buying for the husband. We have actually a handful of famous sports announcers that do it. And then we have some guys that like would write in, I won't disclose, or like, hey, we really want you to send us because of liability issues, like it needs to come to this name, this PO box, this location. You can't ship this to my house. I'm like, yeah. And dude, this brings into a bigger thing. Bart, I'm very curious on what you think about this. We have branded boxes, like the tape is branded, the box is branded.
Yeah.
And we started seeing a rise in damages and products stolen. And we're like, is the branding worth it? Is the branding worth it on the box?
Okay, Bart, one of the big things I'm seeing a lot in Facebook ad accounts these days is a lot of spend on product catalogs. And I'm really, really seeing this a ton in apparel and clothing. I'm curious how much of your budget is going toward catalog?
Yeah, we have really good product photography. So a majority of our spend recently has been going to catalog ads. 40, 50, and sometimes 60% is going into catalog ads, DPAs. And yeah, we're seeing a lot of great results from it.
Yeah, even just going catalogs to cold audiences. One of the issues, though, of course, with catalogs is that you can't stand out creatively. Like you can't, it's just your product photos.
Yeah.
So like I think we've solved for that in an interesting way with Dad Gang, with our partner Marpipe. So can you just kind of break down what you're doing with Marpipe to try and get better results out of your catalog ads?
Marpipe was able to come in and kind of mix up our creative a lot. We kind of felt like we were cornered into this. You can only show white background images or whatever's on your Shopify site. And they were able to come in and bust out a bunch of variations of that catalog, adding copy or adding various backgrounds or even simple things like price. Before that, we were just kind of, held to white background. Here's the hat and here's the copy of the ad. Whereas now that creative can showcase a lot more about the brand to a cold or a remarketing audience.
Yeah, cool. So if you're a Facebook advertiser, marketer, founder, anything like that, you're most likely running product catalog ads in your Facebook ad account already. Check out Marpipe if you want to basically just put those product catalog ads on steroids.
Yeah, we've had so we go pretty discreet outside of the sticker. We have just a plain white box. But then there is a little square sticker that says like your favorite hat just arrived and it says Dad Gang. And we've had
That's
people
subtle enough. That's subtle.
Yeah, we've had people send us photos of ripped open and empty boxes delivered to their doorstep.
Oh yeah, bro.
But we also get people that are like, dude, I got this as a Father's Day gift and it says Dad Gang on it. Like, do you have a discreet option? So we got to work on that actually.
It's even like going through this, dude. It's so interesting to what we want to be public or what we want to brand. It's not cheap. Like it's not cheap to do these things. So I'm curious on your feedback on discreetness or not.
Yeah, you want because the thought is like you want someone to come home and see the box on their porch and be like, yes, my Breeze came in, my Dad Gang hat came in. But the unboxing experience is part of like the whole customer experience. And this is always a challenge for those, is exactly what you guys were saying. But I think that if you focus more on like what's inside the box, you can get that same feel with it being discreet on the outside. But then when someone still opens it, you can have like more branding and handwritten notes, or people will have like the really like nice, fine, like boxes, like your Apple experience when you open it. Like Apple boxes, if you think about it, come in a boring box, and obviously they need to be discreet or else they'll get stolen. But then once you open up the boring box, you still get that Apple experience. So I think there's like, just like thinking one more level into it, like you could still get that unboxing experience without having it be like on the porch saying like, here I am.
Yeah.
I think what is interesting, I mean, the packaging, like that's just like, there's always like those little things that you don't think about. Like you never thought about like, should we do branded tape before you launched a brand? You like all these little decisions, what you said, Zoe, or I think it was you, Shaq, you said like the brands themselves have a look that people recognize. And I was thinking about that, like, and this is people too. So Shaq, like you're actually pretty, maybe not even purposely intentional about this, but intentional about this. Like, why have you had a beard for the last 10 years and you mostly wear hoodies even when it's hot?
Yeah. I think first off, when you have a beard when you're like 14, 15, and it's actually just like acne hiding all hair. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, you have a really big beard. Like, bro, this is the longest I've ever had it. And this is actually the longest I've ever like wanted to keep it and take care of it. Do you know how difficult it is to actually grow like a full face of beard, like a full faced beard?
Oh, I know
Really
firsthand.
It's really difficult. It's
really
sort of like, why would I like, for all the men out there, why would I not do them a solid and grow it? what I was getting? No, I'm kidding. I think it's actually miserable to take care of. I think it's absolutely miserable to take care of. And the easiest thing I can do is like just trim it up and keep it as tight as possible. That's one. Two, I wore the hoodie and I am in the process of detoxing my hoodie collection. I have hundreds and hundreds of hoodies, and I realized that like I'm just rotating the same amount because this is going to be super detached and bougie for this moment. So bear with me as I subtle flex.
Yeah.
I wear the same outfit to the gym, and then the gym washes it, and then I wear that outfit home, and then I go back the next day and just rotate. So I've just been wearing a green jumpsuit for the last like 3 weeks. So this is what we got right now.
That's
it's like
dope.
the Zuckerberg method. Just wear the same
like when
shit all the time.
When you're a college athlete, you have that system, and that's amazing. I love it. Yeah, your workout clothes are washed every day. Yeah,
and then I just live in the workout clothes, and then it's a hard stop.
This was my point. This is my point, though, Shaq. It would probably be more comfortable for you to have like a shorter beard. You used to when you were younger, and also you wear a hoodie when it's like too hot to wear a hoodie, and you're not like a cold guy either. You're like kind of a bear, right? And you're very aware of like Zoe and Bart. If I told you close your eyes and then I said the word Nick Shackelford, tell me the picture that comes to mind. It's like he's got a silhouette. You know what I mean? Like there's a very signature Nick Shackelford look that people know, and you're like recognizable. Zoe, we were talking about this a little bit at Shop Talk. Like I think I don't have that. I have like a very.
Can I tell them what you said?
No, because I'm embarrassed, and you said you wouldn't tell anybody.
Okay, never mind. It's like vulnerable and relatable though.
I have a very generic white guy look is the TLDR.
Utah, bro. Utah through and through.
I got a real Utah white guy vibe.
You got a real Utah white guy vibe.
My point was that people are this. So Zach or not Zach, Shaq, Bart. I was going to say Bart is like round glasses.
Zach
Shaq. I don't know what I'm doing here.
I think he's talking to me actually.
Zoe, Shaq, and what I meant was Bart.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Bart, you're not wearing them today, but round glasses, dad gang hat. Like visually, like that's tied into you. Even though maybe generally you do kind of have like a look like a lot of white guys, you have like signature things. I think products have the same thing. And I think that it's kind of like when you're into a band before they're big, right? Like if you were like walking around with a Ghost while Ghost was still like a real challenger brand, it was like, you're kind of cool for that. You know what I mean? Or if you're wearing a Dad Gang hat right now, you're kind of cool for that. When Dad Gang hits 250 million, then people are going to be like, oh, then it's just like mainstream, you know, then it's like wearing a Supreme hat or a Nike. It just signals whatever you know what I mean? Nike hat or a Supreme hat, those just signal you like who you are. Right. But now it's like this thing that's like, oh, it's sort of indie and people don't know about it. Breeze is probably in a similar zone, although Breeze is getting a little bit more mainstream, I think. And I think that's it's like the products themselves have a signature look, and being into them is like, oh, he's into that like thing, you know?
I think if you really want to know what your thing is, you can go to ChatGPT and I'll send you guys this prompt. But if you go to ChatGPT and be like, here's who I am, it'll create you this.
Ooh.
And it literally is like, here's all your things. Baby, computer, hoodie, sweats, should be Adidas. This is a briefcase, I guess.
For
travel.
For the audio listeners, this is a Shaq action figure kit that has Shaq in a matching hoodie and beanie. He's got the kid on his hip. He's got the laptop open. He's in a very Shaq outfit, and then he's got things that signal like Breeze. Used to play soccer, plays golf now. Passport. He travels a lot. What was that? I'm curious. What was the prompt? Is it a really long prompt that you don't want to say?
I know it's actually so long it's very, very long to say, but I will send it so that we can kind of pull up on the screen. Because I think I want everyone to do this. Like, I think this episode should have everybody doing their own prompts on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Comment.
Wait, I wonder what
I'll do one right now.
I'm gonna put the prompt.
You have to upload an image though, right? Of yourself.
I'm gonna text you guys this. Yes, you do. So I'm gonna do it in our group chat.
So for the people watching too, I'll put the prompt in the description of the YouTube video or in the show notes on the podcast.
Do you want me to read it, John, real quick?
Is it? I mean, yeah, go for it.
Okay. Step 1, enter a text prompt for your AI action figure. Use the template provided. Create an image of an action figure in the package label and then put the label of what you want at the top. Use the attached photo as a reference for the face. So whatever your best photo is, it's got to be a good photo of your face. Mm-hmm. Put the height, dressed in specific outfit, and holding these specific items. The cardboard section should be this specific color. Include accessories. Oh, it's so good. Include these specific accessories that'll kind of be put to the side. And then do not include character images on packaging. This ensures detailed industry specific results. And then upload a reference image for you. So good, dude. And Bart just uploaded his.
I'm gonna put the prompt in the description. People should if you do this, get in the Google comments and tell us about it. I don't know if you can put an image in Google comments. I don't think you can, or in YouTube comments. YouTube's owned by Google. I was better at that time.
You did,
but tell us if it nailed it. Like if it nailed your action figure self. Get in the comments and tell us. That's a good.
Yeah, one. I like that. Mine put an extra dad gang hat while I'm wearing a dad gang hat.
It's got an extra dad gang hat in the accessories.
Because I travel with like 6 of them, so makes sense.
Yeah,
dude, do you know what? Because I was thinking about I've shot a little bit of dad gang content for funsies. And I was thinking about shooting some dad gang content when I was at an event last week. And I did the same thing, dude. I had like 6, all the dad gang hats you've sent me, loaded up, packed up. I had to learn how to pack hats into bags. I didn't know how to do it before.
Yeah, I have it. I have like a special carrier and stuff too. Like a bag, like a hat bag.
Packing hats is the worst experience, dude. I can only equate it to like girls packing multiple sets of shoes and heels.
One of these guys.
Oh, yeah, but see, you put that in there, and all of a sudden, that's literally the whole bottom half of your carry-on.
Oh, I clip this onto my backpack. That's how.
You're the worst. You in economy. You in economy. I hope you just stay back in economy. I wouldn't want you anywhere near me up here in business.
Shaq's like, let me take this opportunity to flex. I fly first class.
Yeah, I can't. That's an economy hat collection, sir. Back out of here.
Yeah, I have a giant Herschel backpack that's strapped onto it. I'm geared up.
You're just shoving it in at your feet.
Yeah. Dude, I had to ask this for you guys on. This is like one of the things that you guys popped up about. So John was like, popping up purchase, anything to do with like Amazon to buy TikTok. Like those are the 2 areas I'm really curious about, because specifically on the TikTok situation, because of all of the tariff conversations, like this is kind of getting overshadowed, but there's like legitimate bids from Amazon and legitimate bids from OnlyFans to potentially come in. Like obviously those the owners of those companies coming in and kind of buying it. Amazon makes the most sense because if anybody knows, if you are spending heavily on TikTok, the overflow is tremendous for search on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And there's so much TikTok. What I've been saying about TikTok recently, and this is like more of over the last 6 months, I've been saying this. This is more of like a I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Like this is more of me kind of accusing Meta. Like this is more of an accusatory statement toward Meta. Facebook has tried to figure out social shopping. And then when Instagram got big, Instagram tried to figure out social shopping. You know, Shaq, you and I have done how many test campaigns of like website and shops, you know, where they've given a brand money to run a Facebook ad campaign to drive purchases in the Instagram shop or in the Facebook shop. And it always sucks. They have not been able to figure this out. TikTok comes in and figures it out so fast that it's like organic. You're getting a ton of organic purchases in TikTok shop. So it was figure outable. Like I kind of thought, oh, people, when they're on social, they don't want to shop through organic content. And that's why Instagram can't figure this out. No, it was figure outable. Turns out it was figure outable the whole time. And Instagram just couldn't do it. And TikTok figured it out so quick. And I would say it's probably their main like differentiator as a platform from a monetization standpoint. So to me, Amazon makes all the sense in the world, right? Put big fulfillment behind what they're doing. The overflow to Amazon is insane. Like you said, Amazon wants to peel off more from your D2C store, but people and like the brands are already okay with it because like you don't get the customer data when somebody makes a TikTok shop purchase. That's the same as Amazon. You know, you only get their address and stuff like that. So it's like Amazon's like just makes sense as like a bolt-on company. It makes total sense to me. What do you guys think the OnlyFans play is?
I was trying to get there on this. And I was trying to like, the only place I got to is on OnlyFans. There's obviously transactions being done and there's like one-on-one conversations being done, but there's no like physical shoppable store or like what's being done. But then what would there be sold? What would be logical to be sold there? And then the demographic of TikTok is so much younger. There's really no like data sharing. If it's just a sheer, hey, I'm going to acquire this asset and let it be itself, I don't really see any full integration on that side.
It doesn't seem like a portfolio company for OnlyFans, does it? It seems like just another company.
Same. Whereas like if TikTok and Amazon actually came together, I think that would make a lot of sense because even if you think faster into like buy with Prime or even all the way into all the Prime Video, it then gives it the distribution channel for getting more people onto their shows. And if anyone's going to compete against Netflix or put any sort of streaming numbers up, having access to a pretty cheap distribution network of all new shows would make a lot of sense too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Netflix has been thrown around, or even like Spotify could be a buyer, maybe.
That'd be interesting.
But yeah,
just commerce standpoint, the commerce standpoint has to be an Amazon play because of how many products are being sold. Yeah.
Well, because it has to be American, right? Temu or Shein would make sense too, but American. Wish.com, maybe.
They have enough problems to deal with right now, though.
I want to tell you some things that we were learning about the Breeze website that was costing us a bunch of money that we actually didn't know until we installed a heat map. On our product page, we have bullet points that looked like buttons. We had elements that looked like buttons that you actually can't click. And we were finding out that we were literally losing money because the navigation was so unclear that to the thousands of dollars because of the amount of traffic we're spending, we weren't able to find success. And so heatmap.com was able to kind of highlight and tell us exactly where these users were clicking. And we made that immediate change. Then we saw on the heat map that like we had product tiles where people were navigating to kind of add to cart or learn more about the products. It's too far down on the page, but majority of the revenue is starting and driven from those specific tiles. And by us just moving those up the page so it's less of a scroll on mobile, we're able to drive almost 2 times the revenue from the same exact amount of traffic. That, again, was only coming from heat map. I think that's super powerful because it's able to track specific dollars per element on your website, and no other thing in the world can do this. Not that I know. And so this is why it's easy enough for me to use or our CRO to use. There's no negotiation. There's no back and forth. It's either making us money or it's losing us money. And it's the reason why I'm super thankful for the heat map team to be a part of this crew. And if you want to try it for 14 days, free of charge, worst case, doesn't work for you. Best case, you make a bunch of money, you save a bunch of money. It's a win all around. Hope you guys try it out.
Right. Well, what I was going to say, I mean, maybe it's like, I don't know what the play. Obviously, there's plenty of OnlyFans creators on TikTok. So there is definitely some crossover. Like TikTok's providing traffic to OnlyFans. Maybe people's OnlyFans specials start becoming available in their TikTok shops, right? They just start to be able to sell their OnlyFans memberships direct in TikTok shop, and there's a Patreon type side of it or something like that. Maybe they build that out. I don't know.
Should. I don't know. They both have
Seems so
money.
weird because TikTok was kind of built off kids, using the platform.
Yeah, that's what's real weird about it.
This just feels weird.
Remember when I was like, am I too old to be on TikTok? And now there's like OnlyFans? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, It's like, you know how they have like the For You feed and then the following feed and then the STEM, like science, education, technology, engineering feed. And they have just like another feed that's like here's the full on like Twitter feed, right? Like here's the adult feed.
I almost think like LinkedIn would be a better option.
What?
Explain
yourself.
No.
Where are we getting this? Where are we going with this?
No, hold on. Say more.
Like, I don't know. I just think like the funniest thing would be if we're thinking about OnlyFans, right? Like the best way to get business would probably be like to post nudes on LinkedIn, right?
I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's a blue ocean, that's for sure. Not a lot of people.
You can't do not suitable for work content on the suitable for work content platform.
Why not? Who makes the rules?
I mean, I'll do a full. I'll test a full body tomorrow and see like how my OnlyFans subs go up.
Thank you,
Zoe. Yeah, Zoe and Shaq start posting your bikini shots on there.
I've definitely gotten messages on LinkedIn from like AI chicks that are not real human beings. So
are they pitching you SaaS?
Zoe's got some kind of what?
Are they pitching you SaaS or are they pitching you their OnlyFans?
SaaS.
Okay.
But so it's like obviously like a hot AI chick trying to get a guy to open the message instead of, another message from Steve at corporate trying to get you to buy
it. Hey, you thought it was Lisa. It's actually Steve. Would you like it?
Two things on that. One, I want to say it was a Twitter. I can't even remember. This is just in my zeitgeist. I saw somebody say that they are like, they have a friend who's building like their main acquisition channel is LinkedIn DMs. And that like, women profile photos get like 3 times higher response rate. And then the other thing that happened to me maybe a year ago or something like that, somebody DM'd me on Twitter and they're like, hey, like I saw that I won't say this person's name. So I saw that XYZ person that's like a high profile person that follows me. And they're like, so they followed me and started DMing me about, like working with them. And I was like, okay, cool. Like good for you. And they're like, only problem is I'm actually a dude. And it was like a girl profile, like clearly a girl profile.
Oh.
She like slid into his DMs or whatever. Like she told me the whole story. She's like, yeah, I've been like, following these high profile people and then just making the content that I make, which is, it was like work content, like it was like marketing content, you know what I mean? But like, I've just been following these people and then making the content, and the follow back rate's pretty high compared to when I compared to my other account, which is just my actual face. And I'm saying he like that's what he said. And he was like, so what do I do? He wants to set up a call for me for this week. I'm like, I don't know why you're asking me advice about this. And then they were like, I don't know.
You have to hire someone who looks exactly like the AI picture.
Yeah.
They were like, I think Nick Shackelford might be mad that I'm actually a dude. So I didn't know what to tell him.
Shaq, is this part of your LinkedIn coursework?
This is how you actually get follow ratios up and response rates up, which means closing goes up. If I was in this situation, I probably would have to like go off camera and just go AI voice changer and just stick with it.
Yeah, you got to own it.
You got to stick with it, dude. You can't. If it's a deal,
long?
I don't know.
Forever, if you have to.
Until you have to then get like a mortuary where like, oh, she actually passed. I'm taking over her leads. Like, sorry.
I mean, we got to be close to the point where you just take that video call as that AI, right?
Oh, very close.
It's got to be there almost.
Well, yeah. So this was maybe a year or a little more than a year ago that this person. So it wasn't that like they couldn't even.
Yeah.
I was like, the best thing I could come up with is I was like, maybe tell them now, like, hey, I've been doing this because I actually am like getting more of a following this way, or like explain yourself like you did to me, or just show up as a dude and own it. Like, because what are they going to say? Once they're on the call, what are they going to say? Like you catfished me? You're going to be like, well, but you're here, like you're a married man and you're here.
Yeah. Or you can pass it to a specialist.
That's my question.
Sorry, what was that, Zoe?
Why did they confide in you about this? Is this like something?
Because he's a simple white guy from Utah.
Yeah,
I don't want to say too. I mean, look, somebody. Yeah, they're like these white Mormons. They seem to know something. He was like, "Could you pray for me?"
That's good.
No, the reason was because, oh man, I don't want to say too, somebody could go back on my Twitter and figure this out probably. I had an exchange, like a public exchange with this person. So they were like, oh, you must maybe know him or something like that. And it's like a pretty public, like, it's not like Shaq. Like
what would you guys be, what would you do if that happened to you? Like, and they let's say like they did that and they went on for like 2 years. And then one day they were like, they confessed, like, actually it's me. And I've been pretending to be this. What would like,
I try and avoid talking to women online. Number one. And then number two, I think that, and then, so I was the one who got catfished, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and they came out and they were like, I'm sorry. Like, I should have told you earlier.
I would say respect, honestly.
Yeah.
I actually kind of respect this. This is, I love the hustle. And if I felt too duped by it, or if I felt like they were going to blackmail me because I'd been sending them, explicit pictures or something like that, then I might be like, well, now I just have to pay you whatever you need.
I would probably feel like John, like, damn, well done. Like, that's a crazy split test. Like, hopefully no one did anything that's too embarrassing for themselves, because I'm sure this happens all the time. I actually think the amount of times you have like an emoji or like a character or a ghost person or just dude, just think about all the like NFT people that exist but don't exist. Like, there's a lot of people out there, and I'll take it even one step further. I think it's even weirder when you are interacting with people actively on Twitter, for instance. You have no idea what they look like because they've never put a photo, or it's an old photo. Then you see them in person and they're like, dude, it's so good to finally see you in person. You're like, I'm sorry, what? Like, who is this?
Which one are
like,
you?
You don't know me?
Like, who is this? And like, who's this? Did we talk yesterday? I'm like, oh fuck, what did we do? That's the worst when it gets to that point.
Yeah. What would you do, Bart, if you got catfished by your person you're trying to hire for social media marketing?
I don't know. That's an odd one.
Bart's like, I'm the dad gang guy. I'm wholesome. I can't answer that.
Yeah, like, but they're just catfishing you for new business,
like an actual job. That's why I think I'd be like, respect.
That's why I don't think, like, if you got involved romantically in these messages, then it's a whole nother story. But if it's just for some new biz, honestly, if I was the scammer on the other side, I'd be like, all right, thank you so much for taking the call. I'm going to pass you to my specialist, and it's a dude. And then you're good.
Find a girl who looks similar to the profile picture you've been using.
That's good. Yeah.
No. I would even like legit just pass it to, myself, but say like,
yeah.
So we're going to have you, now that you're open to a call, we're going to have you talk to XYZ. And then it's a guy. You don't always speak to the person that DM'd you.
I think that this girl was kind of
even set the call.
Yeah, you could. I think this girl was doing it a little less enterprise, if you know what I mean. Like, like she was, does that make sense? Like she was kind of like acting more like an independent operator online. So it's hard to kind of like make that transfer. Zoe felt, I'm sorry, I'm not just texting during the podcast. Zoe's laptop died, so I have to send her the Zoom link. But I don't know, man. I think if I got catfished for a job, I would just be impressed. And I think the best play would be just show up and be a dude and be like, gotcha.
Right.
I would laugh at that.
Because you on the other side, you can't really be that disappointed. Like, oh, you're not this chick that I was talking to. Like, that's
the
not
only
what the
way you
call's
could be
about.
disappointed is if you did have bad intentions.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's it kind of looks bad on the other side.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
You're good.
Fill some air while I talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I think
whenever I say that, you guys can't talk.
Bart, what was the next thing that Bart you had on?
Yeah, Bart, let's kick to you. What's the next thing you want to chat about?
Oh, well, we kind of chatted about it last week, but I feel like the fluff and puff of all the AI ads just kind of disappeared. We discussed last week how it
so fast,
how it existed, and we all tried it, and my opinion was that it's not that hot. And then, but now it's like, I don't know, after like 3 days of everybody screaming about it, it's like nowhere to be found.
I went really deep on this. I'll candidly say, like, I'm an advisor to icon.me, which is
Yeah.
good dude. Keenan's good dude. We used Skio before. We're not on Skio right now. I'm like in the back end of like seeing how this works. And like you ask me like, how is it? I'm like, like, you still need to know how to make ads. Like you still need to understand how to do these editing. I had a pretty aggressive post I got coming out like 1 or 2 weeks. One of our core businesses is Constant Creative, where we just do edits and videos and with existing content.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a bunch of humans from all over the world that we literally hired based upon the time zones of the people that we're serving, and they just make edits. And even these guys, that all they do, it's all they know, that's their core competency. And we're like, hey, like start prompting and start making stuff in GPTs, and we have it paid for them. They are still coming back and going like, I would rather struggle through Figma files and use Canva than play with prompting and then trying to export it and then play with it again. Because it just doesn't work in the level unless the prompt is so dialed in and you nail it on the first time where it just won't work. And I'm going, okay,
Yeah.
like all the other AI things going on, we're in this echo chamber on D2C, Twitter, where it's very bleeding edge. It's a lot of people that have a lot of time and are actually pretty smart, but those are not the people that are using these tools or are going to get the end result of these tools. It's going to be layman's brand owners. Not saying that the brand owners are dumb by any means, but for people that don't really care whether you make it with AI or whether you make it without AI, they just need the shit to work.
Yeah.
So if it's just us going like, oh my God, this is incredible, this is great, this is going to be the best thing, and it doesn't make our process better or doesn't get us to deliver better creative, then we're going to result to like, it's not working. I got to come back in. That thing is done. I think it's not here yet. It's like 3 years away.
Yeah. I put out a tweet that kind of got shitted on because I was like, these ads suck. That's all I said. And I was speaking of the now because everybody's like, dude, just wait a couple of years. And I'm like,
Yeah, of course.
I am waiting a couple of years because this is the flip phone right now. And like so like speaking very personally, when I say take this dad gang hat and put it in this environment and you change the dad gang hat, I'm like, this sucks. And so that's how I'm going to feel about it. It was, for me, it was just like, you're changing the product I'm selling. And that's really like if I ran that ad, somebody'd be like, this isn't what I clicked on to purchase. It was just so far off from what I was expecting. Yeah.
I feel this way deeply, dude. It's super frustrating.
But breeze cans are a little, I would say, like it being kind of like not a stitched, it's a can, and like, it's a little easier to replicate, I would say, than like a very detailed stitched hat. Because I saw some people making them, like some people are like making them for you. It was like, oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah. No, we had some sauce, dude. Some people are making some crazy stuff with us, but I also think, oh man, we got a personal
baby
gift
alert.
From somebody.
We got Kingsley making an appearance.
We got 2 gifts from somebody. Oh, what is this? Did someone give him an AI thing? What's this?
That's a fidget spinner.
That's an AI fidget spinner.
Oh, with the inventor himself. Wow.
You know your dad made fidget spinners cool?
I can't give him any of my fidget because he just eats them. Like if I gave him this one right here, he'd just be like, that's cool.
He's like, Kingsley, cool.
He's walking now, right?
Yeah, he's full fledged. We had we just did like a hibachi for him. And we dressed him up into like a little Japanese outfit. We rocked obviously our dad game outfits, but we had this little guy full samurai. And then if you guys know, obviously Kampai Foods, big love for Isaac out there. He sent me a baby samurai sword, an actual sharp samurai sword, and I was having Kingsley like wave it around and run around with the knife, and the wife was not stoked with that.
I can't imagine why. I don't even remember what you guys were in the middle of. So what I wanted to say about the AI ads was I was hoping circling back to this. All of us were on the same page last week where we were just like, I think actually zigging where everyone's zagging here, where everyone's trying to zag into like higher volume, make more ads, use AI to just, drop hundreds of ads into your ad account or whatever. I think if you zig and like do some just incredibly human type of ads and content, that's probably a good play. It's interesting. Shaq. It's the second time. I think I might just start calling him Zach. Who is
Because
that?
it's because we talked about Zach Zellner earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're pretty
Go
much
on.
all about him, you know? But Shaq, because you're an advisor to what's the company again? You said it earlier. Icon. So talk in your book a little bit, but because you're an advisor to them and because they had this huge launch, I was kind of hoping like, oh, are you going to come on here and like take the bull case and sort of debate against us? And you're like, nah.
No, I'm not. And here's why is like, I say this to him all the time. I was like, dude, I don't know the legality about this stuff. Like, I don't know. On one hand, I go, I'm getting fed ads in my feed of people that I have no idea who they are, but they're trying to sell my products.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What's the difference between someone that it's based off of a real person that I have no idea who it is, but they're trying to sell my products? I don't know either of the people. I don't know I don't know the AI, and I don't know the real person. At the end of the day, they're still just trying to sell me products. So I don't really actually care who is selling what doing. But I believe that when you start getting into like really specific type of avatars, like a 45-year-old woman that looks this type of way, this type of weight, with this type of wrinkles, from this type of country, this type of state, like then it gets really, really specific. And could you imagine just like the hyper targeting of AI creators that look like an absolute buyer of your product? That's just going to get wild and weird, dude. And I just don't think I don't think it's the way that marketing should go. And that's a little bit of like the artistry in me that believes in it. And maybe I'm just a hater. Maybe I'm just like, I'm not with the times and I don't want it to happen.
Okay, I know you're running a lot of product catalog ads and you're using Marpipe. What are some of the creative tests in your catalog ads that you've noticed that have worked well for Dad Gang?
Honestly, for us, the thing that's performing really well right now is like a three grid breakout of the hat. So a lot of our original catalog ads would just have like the front of the hat showing and not the second image. So being able to showcase like the front, the side, the back of the hat in one ad. The other one, as simple as it sounds, is just like actually putting the price front and center, like a little red circle that actually shows the price, because our hats are great quality, but they're only $35 compared to a lot of like the similar quality of a hat out there is like $45 to $60. So I think being able to showcase an affordable price in one ad is helping too.
So, and like Marpipe specifically, they just bust out tons of variations of your catalogs and keep testing it.
Yeah, you just integrate directly into Slack with their team, let them know what you're kind of looking for. They bust out a bunch of variations. It connects directly into your Ads Manager account, and you don't even have to do that much within Ads Manager. It's a seamless integration into everything you're already doing.
If you're any kind of brand that wants to put your catalog ads on steroids and get more returns, better returns out of your catalog ads, check out marpipe.com. All right, back to the pod.
I struggle with this because I think that like UGC with non-actual, like non-customers, it is kind of like similar, because you could just like pick someone who looks like your buyer and like just give them an enormous amount of money, and like they're probably going to say yes, but they're not an actual customer. But like they're like it could be like similar to that, but then I don't like that, you know, like, I mean, but it happens all the time. Like most companies do that. So it's like, I struggle with like, well, what's actually right? I don't know.
Yeah. My viewpoint on like legal stuff is do it. And if you get a cease and desist, then cease and desist. I think I've said that
Then
before.
let Jackie handle it.
Yeah, then send it to Jackie, and Jackie will make it go away.
Jackie makes all the bad things go away.
Makes all the bad things go away. Yeah. Look, I think Shaq, I know you've gotten cease and desists. I know you've like done edgy ads or not edgy ads, ads that are on the borderline of what's legal to use in an advertisement. Not for Breeze probably, and not for maybe any brands recently where it's all a little bit more above board now, but definitely for other stuff that we've you and I have done, or you've done, independently of me. I've definitely done it. I don't know if Bart or Zoe, if you guys kind of have been involved in that. Zoe, you've always been at brands that are very like
above board.
Above board is the only way I know how to say it. What do I mean by that? Like a brand that is a brand, not a brand that's like, I'm just trying to sell something,
Yeah.
I've had clients who are just trying to sell something, and it's like so much harder to work with. It's like, it's very hard, especially on the customer experience side.
For you, it's way harder. For the direct response marketers,
oh yeah, you're so right.
We're thriving. We're like, let's go.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
how many more virtual credit cards can you make me, please?
Oh my God. Rotating credit cards, rotating ad accounts.
How many more old people can I scam? Like, God.
I've been trying to cancel my bill, but I keep getting another charge. Oh, click this link. I bought a couple more.
Yeah.
It's weird. I keep getting more charges every time you cancel. I'm like, can you fix this? And they're like, no, that's how we make money. Like, what am I doing here?
You're like, why did you hire me?
It's actually a real dilemma. Like, we think about this with like subscription, and we always get people going like, no matter what we do, no matter how we try it, someone will still email and go like, can you cancel my stuff? We have tutorials, we have logins, we have no logins, we have whatever. The customer is always just gonna be like, hey, can you just do it for us? And I think the better the product, the better they're gonna want to like stick with you. And if it's a bad product, you literally don't have a choice if you're going to stop the bleeding to make it as difficult and as hard to get out of it as possible, which sucks. Is the wrong way of doing it, but it's a very real thing.
Yeah,
nice toss.
Yeah, you just do it with a trash can.
Well, that's fun. I agree. I think the AI ads, I think there's some really interesting tools. A guy that we used to work with at Structured, Nick, and you probably know more what he's up to now, Joe, posted something on Instagram earlier today that I thought was pretty cool, where he kind of like used an AI tool to like, he did a talking head video, and then he used an AI tool to turn himself into like Don Corleone. But it was still his talking head, and it looked pretty good. It didn't look like, like plastered on talking head to like plastered onto an image. There was like movement, a little bit of subtle movement, like lung motion and stuff like that. So I think there's stuff that it's like, those are tools in the bag. My friend did did some content for a brand that does like stash, it's like a box that you put your stash in. It has like, it's basically like a cool lock box with different compartments, and stoners use it. And he did like a song with, was it Suno or I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
He like wrote a song that was like pretty funny, and it kind of had like an Afro Man vibe to it. And it was like the song kind of lent itself to a skit. Right. And so it's like, okay, I think you just got to know how to like, there are tools in your tool belt. You've got to know actually how to build shelves with them. You know what I'm saying?
The song one is cool. I've made some dad gang songs that I've never seen the internet, but dude, I made like a dad
share them now.
Like a dad gang anthem. And then one of my buddies is a bus driver, so I made a song about him, and just to clown. And I love using that one. I'm gonna hop on that after this call. Actually, I need to make some more anthems.
Or it's gonna be some producing music for the rest of the day. Anyway, all right, Zoe, what do you got? What do you want to chat about today?
I actually get to pick one.
Yeah, you're last though.
I'm allowed to speak.
Yeah, you're last though.
You may speak now.
Well, I didn't even try it. I didn't even think this was an option, so I'm not prepared.
Yeah, well, look and read. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna show the people all of our action figures. Right?
Yes. And I'm like fighting with my chat GPT right now because I wanted it to make me a little slimmer, and it said no.
Oh, mine made me.
And then it was
too.
I'm dying, dude. I'm dying.
And then it was like, okay, but we can't make you skinnier, but we can do something like Space Explorer Zoe. And I was like, fine, make me Space Explorer Zoe. And then it goes, I wasn't able to generate that because it actually does violate content policies. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll just have to be fat.
It's like, we can't make you slimmer. Have you tried Ozempic? You're like, oh, fuck.
You're like, I'm already on Ozempic. I can't do any more Ozempic.
Yeah, you're like, how many more GLPs can I take?
I can't do it. I'm already doing that already. All right, so here's Bart. We got some red packaging. The Chev. How would you say that? How do you say that? That's your handle everywhere.
It's just the
What
chef.
is that?
But it's spelled in Polish. That's just my Instagram and Twitter handle.
I like that it gave
What
you
is that at the bottom left?
Yeah, what is that?
Extra glasses.
Oh,
I don't know.
It's
It
the
gave
side
you-
view, it's like the side extra arm, like
Yeah,
glasses.
sometimes they screw up. Like
Bart is so hard on his glasses. He'll be breaking the arms all the time.
so I don't have them on
extra
today. They're
arms.
broke.
extra pieces.
No, but I like it. You got a dad gang hat, and then it gave you a spare dad gang hat, and then it gave you a disguise hat here in case you need to get away from the police.
No, that's a
just-
dead gang hat. You read that wrong. That says dead gang.
Yeah, well, it doesn't always get it. Give you a water bottle, a laptop.
Maybe that's just Halloween drop, dead gang.
Ooh.
That's a good one. Bart just
I'll
takes
take,
Right.
notes from this
I'll take
podcast.
royalties on that. I'll take royalties.
Bart-
D-E-A-D, and then like D-A-D white, and then do E orange.
Yeah.
Oh, so that it still says dad somehow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's $1 million
$1.50 of every
SKU
sale
for
goes
sure.
to Shaq now.
It's $1 million SKU.
Yeah. You're going to make a cool, 15 G's off that just for a quick idea on a podcast? Good job, Shaq.
Yeah, it's a good ROI. dude. That's over.
But Bart does that. Bart just takes ideas from the podcast. Like we were talking about like ads one week and he was like, oh, based on our conversation, I made this ad and it's crushing. I'm like, well, I would like a little bit of money from that maybe. Or maybe it just goes to a podcast pool.
Ask Jackie. You get nothing.
Yeah, Jackie.
Jackie disapproves.
Fortunately.
All right. So here's wide hips Zoe that made you a little too short.
It
honestly.
made her literally like.
Look.
It's crazy, dude. It's
It-
crazy.
This is what it did to you, Zoe. It aged you 5 years and gave you 2 toddlers. Is what
And it's like, I didn't tell it I was autistic, but it knew.
it was like super white sneakers, brand new ones, a bag, a laptop, PlayStation controller, and a Pikachu.
That's
And it
so
knew you were
And
autistic. I'm
extra
surprised
light.
you didn't put some trains in there.
John,
Careful.
yours looks so concerned. Like yours looks like really, really concerned. Like something's wrong.
It looks accurate too.
It doesn't
Yours
really.
look-
Oh, that's bad.
No,
I thought it made me
looks.
too chubby.
It's not chubby at all. It makes you look. Actually,
I actually
Joey
have
looks
no
like-
idea what your body looks like because we do
That's a
these
good point. That's a good
podcasts.
Wait, John. You look like Forgetting
The
Sarah
Book of
Marshall.
Mormon.
I look like Jason Segel from Forgetting Sarah
You look
Marshall.
like Jason Forgetting Sarah Marshall in this photo.
Is that what's next to your monster? Is that like a monster holder?
Like a monster holder. That's fancy. I don't have that.
Jacuzzi.
Gave me a
And
little book
two
of Mormon,
books of
gave me a
Mormon.
missionary,
This guy.
gave me a Book of Mormon. Gave me a monster to offset the Book of Mormon.
Gave him a Book of
basketball
Mormon.
backpack.
They gave him
I
two books.
do
because
not
he's
want
supposed to
that
give one
guy.
away.
What was that, Chad?
And I,
He gave him 2 books because one he's supposed to give it away and
Yeah.
really spread the word.
Right. Yeah. Gave me one to spread the word and one to study with.
Do you play
Is that
basketball
guy,
or is that
um,
like a Mormon basketball league thing?
It's like every LDS church has a full length
A court,
basketball
yeah.
court in it. Yeah. No, I do play a lot of basketball as you do if you live in Utah.
I love how the ball is bigger than the backpack too.
The ball's bigger than my head. Like the ball's really big. It's as big as my torso.
Yeah,
I
it's like a
would
beach
not like,
basketball.
if that guy was knocking on my door, I would like probably move to another state.
But if he was wearing a dad gang hat, then you would take
You
a
take
picture.
a picture of him.
I would take a picture first, then move to another state.
All right, Zoe, that whole thing was a stall so you could pick whatever topic you want to talk about. Did you do that or did you get distracted by what we were doing?
I don't want to pick.
Okay, well, I mean, we could probably wrap if you guys want.
Yeah, we're
wrap
topicked
it.
out.
Let's wrap
All
it,
right.
dude.
Shaq, it's always a good time when you're here. We have more fun. We laugh more. I don't know if the audience likes it. The audience is like, will you guys talk like business, not just like you're
I know.
bullshitting with each other? But you know
I
what?
know.
If you're still here, then you're a real one. And you should comment And everybody start a petition in the comments. Besides what I told you to comment earlier, start a petition in the comments to get Shaq to show up to more episodes. I want a comment petition. It says like Shaq, we need Shaq back, or we need more Shaq, or whatever.
We need more Shaq.
We should use
Shaq
these characters in our YouTube thumbnail, maybe.
100%.
All right. I will think about it.
Make Zoe's the biggest, obviously, and then
make my hips bigger first,
yeah.
Then make mine the biggest.
Zoe in the YouTube thumbnails is a winning combination so far.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
YouTube loves Zoe.
It's just Zoe's hips. That's all it is.
Zoe's just a close up.
You guys come. It's good to see you guys. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody subscribe, comment, do the stuff. All right, here we go. Share in the group chat. Everybody gets to see inside the group chat. All right, so here's Bart.
This desktop gives me anxiety.
Yeah, we're just in your
spiral.
Slack.
Oh, you're in my Slack? Yeah.
And you're like really
in my really
no folders.
Yeah, I have one side of my desktop that's just crazy. And then the other side is like.
Can you just like select everything and move to trash bin?
Yeah, I do that every now and then, every month or so.
Never do it right now.
It's because if you're like doing, it's like I'm just like quickly dragging an image. I don't need to defend myself to you. All right.